Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans, Orphans, episode 25, the finale to the Iron Blooded Orphans series. Oh man, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I watched over some of those scenes as I was making this review video, and it's like, yeah, man, it's over. And I got choked up for a few little spots when I'm watching it over, but overall, this was pretty awesome. But now, like, you know, let's make it special. Before we start talking in the video, one more thing I gotta do. Hello. So I decided I was going to make this special and put on a face cam so that you guys can see my face while I talk about this episode. And so for the first time, to the viewers of these videos, thank you for watching. As you can see, I am wearing sunglasses and I'm keeping on a black hat just to keep up with the avatar that was on the channel. And as you saw in the title, I made a call out to one of a subscriber and person that I typically follow on YouTube, and that was just really, I put his name in the title of this video just because I wanted to make sure that he saw that I was doing this. So if you're watching this video, Angryanimefan, hello. Anyway, not the point. This is the finale episode, so I figured this was the time for me to like really just sit down and talk with you guys, and so we're going to get into this and ultimately, you know, talk about how good this episode was. We're going to do our regular thing, talking about the general aspects of the episode. Then from there, we're going to go in and talk about the top 5 moments and all that good stuff. But before we get into that, I have to address another aspect of the title and or thumbnail. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that part of it yet. But a few episodes ago, I put up... no, I made a bet. I was asking guys to make bets, and the bet that I made was that at the end of the series, we were going to have a situation where Mikazuki's dead, we're going to get the ultimate tragedy, Atra has a baby, no father, and Kudelia. Now, I will admit, I got over-eager. I got really over-eager, and I said that Kudelia would be the one, or would also be pregnant with Mikazuki's child. Technically, I lost that bet because I got over-eager and put Kudelia into it. But after reading all the other bets that were going on in that particular video, what people thought was going to happen at the end of the Iron Blooded Orphans series, I'm just going to say, like, I was close enough. So, you know, me and Lord Fluffington, we win. Okay? We win. That was our victory. We won. So, yeah, we're awesome. And, you know, it's not like, you guys are awesome too. It's just, we're more awesome. But, yeah, fun and games aside, it kind of played out how I thought it was going to end up playing out. And one more aspect, and I'm going to really talk about this later on, but I kept saying that the episode was probably going to be split, and we were probably going to end up with an issue of half of the episode being dedicated to fighting, and then half of the episode being dedicated to the epilogue. And I am so happy that is actually how it went down, like fully. The half of the episode was dedicated to the epilogue. So, wow. Okay, so now let's just talk about the series overall and just what this episode did. Now, you know, we're going into these episodes and we are always talking about in the comments like what we want to see, like maybe they bring back Bael, maybe they bring Gundams, maybe that's what the special units are. But I think what really makes Iron Blooded Orphans special in the end was just how grounded the series is. Like, if you think about it, in that final sequence in the first half, Mikazuki and Akihiro, to the same degree, are really the most fantastical elements of that battle. It's the hero side that's the most fantastical when it's coming down to that fight. And ultimately, when you think back to other Gundam series, like, this ending is by far the most different thing that we've ever had for our Gundam series. You know, let's just ignore the fact that the main characters died. That's not a big issue. But just thinking that when you compare the final battles, it's always against these really overpowered mobile suits, and it's just things going and blowing up everywhere. You know, the final episodes of Gundam series are usually so bombastic But at the end of the day, it was our heroes who were the most bombastic things in that fight, and ultimately what brought them down was just things that were being used earlier on in the season. It wasn't some kind of giant mobile suit that was just super overpowered. It wasn't them bringing in Gundam Floros because they repaired it. It wasn't that. It was just a man deciding he's not going to risk anything. He's just going to use what works and take down someone who is arguably a very scary presence on the battlefield. Like, we can't ignore the way that Tekkadan was portrayed in those final moments, and ultimately it just works for the series. The series was always very grounded. It was grounded in the characters, and the Gundams were just something that flourished over top of them. So overall, this is a really interesting Gundam series. It's different, and I think that makes it really valuable. So that's my general thoughts about, well, you know, that's my general thoughts about just the tone of this Gundam series. So now let's just take the step aside. I can't think of anything else I really want to say about this because it's really going to come up now in the top moments. So let's start talking about that. The top moments for the episode, the last time we're doing this for Iron Blooded Orphans. Alright, so starting it off, like, this was the best moment. I was freaking happy about this because I didn't think this was going to happen, and unfortunately he got an ending, and I wasn't rooting for it, but it was good. First moment we're going to talk about, Akihiro versus Eok. Eok getting squashed like the cockroach he is. So honestly guys, you know, this moment occurred after the Dance Slave beatdown that Mikazuki and Akihiro took. So, you know, that was the last moments for both characters, but as I'm seeing Akihiro there versus Eok, I'm just thinking, oh my god, he might get killed. Like, oh man, he's on the floor. And then Eok did the stupidest thing, or actually the thing that he always does, that he calls out his own name, and that's when the best thing of all time happened. The best thing happened, and it was, you know what, screw copyright. I watched that moment 5 times over. You guys get to watch it too. Here it is. Man, just the best. The best. That was the best. Yo, look, that was everything I wanted out of Akihiro's storyline, besides the fact that Akihiro died. Like, and also him dying is like, but that was awesome. Because, you know, back when Mikazuki took down Jasley, Akihiro was just watching in the background, and then he was just saying about he has to become a less decent person in order to win out. And that's what culminated here. We finally got the answer to that particular storyline. How could I not appreciate that? Just the happiness that I got when Akihiro realized who he was fighting, and him getting really pissed off and then going in for the crush. Oh, wow. Excellent stuff. And again, it called back to what he said about being decent. Now, when he gets to the other side, he's going to have a story to tell the people who he had to leave, or the people who left him earlier. Ultimately, I was so happy for that. You know, I wasn't hoping for Akihiro to die, and I didn't think Eok would die, but both did. And ultimately, Akihiro won out in his character arc. He won his victory. He got his victory. Good things happen if you live long enough. Man, what a nice thing. Oh, it was so good. Okay, so that was a really great moment because it culminated Akihiro's story arc. It answered what he had set up earlier in the season, and it took down Eok. Eok went down in the most gruesome way Akihiro could have done. Who would have thought he would have gotten to crush the person who ruined everything? And again, the moment that he realizes it's Eok and he says, "So it was you." Oh, best. Okay, moving on to the next moment. And this one was one of the first moments that happened in the episode. It was specifically Akihiro and Mikazuki's last stand. This is where they tell everyone, hey, get out of here. We gotta do this. Ultimately, this is what sets the tone for the episode, because this is what's telling us, shit, it's gonna be just the two of them. Like, yeah, this is gonna be really monstrous to watch. But holy, that was pretty badass, the two of them back to back. Would have been made better if Shino was still there, because then we could have had 3 Gundams. But it ends with Akihiro and Mikazuki, so really I can't complain. And just them both resolving to get those guys out of there and for them to just finish this up. They started with their Gundams and they're ending with their Gundams. So, man, it sets the tone for the episode. It's a very powerful moment. It's very important. We see Eugene being told to get out of here. You have a responsibility. And this moment is really important because it pays into one of the later moments, because it's talking about the place where they had gotten to and what their ultimate goal was. At least Mikazuki's ultimate goal was. So really important for setup, really important for the tone of the episode. And once that happened, it was like, yeah, we're gonna see something special here, but things might not end well. Moving on to the next moment, it was really the dance slave barrage. Look, you know, Russell could have done a lot of things. Russell could have gone down there and, you know, drunk off his victory and try and win off. He could have gone in a mobile suit, get him close to the action, but Russell ultimately stays a grounded character. The use of that dance slave at the very end is really just a testament to how overpowered that weapon was. The weapon lives up to the hype. We know why it got banned. It is a brutal weapon, and seeing that Russell had the clarity of mind to not jeopardize anything and continue using that weapon to take down what he saw as a legitimate threat, I respect that. That's respectable. Russell remained effective to the end and then some. Like, yeah, it sucked when he had like all those guys getting ready to aim down at Mikazuki, and the faces of Mikazuki and Akihiro when they realize what's coming, or when they're looking up to see what's coming. It's really brutal. It was really brutal. Like, man, that was rough to watch. But again, applause for Russell, and again, applause for the dance slave as a general plot device. Like, that thing was introduced and it has been the downfall of every person who has come across it. Like, that is the thing that ruined us. It ruined Naze, it ruined Shino, and now it's ruined Mikazuki and Akihiro, and it's like, wow, it lived up to the hype. So the dance slave moment was just great. Man. Okay, and one more moment to talk about before we get into like the last moment. The moment that the head is taken and the devil is slayed. Now this is the moment that's really important, because this is like, it paints Tekadon as a really bad person, or it paints the organization as a really bad entity, and it's like, yeah, to some degree, when you look at it from the outside, it could certainly be spun that way. And to some degree, it's, yeah, like they were sided with McGillis, and McGillis might have been, he's easy to say that he's a bad guy, so it doesn't look really well. The real mercy that Tekadon got out of this towards the future is that people will forget about their organization, that their name will not really be smeared too much, at least over time. But just the moment that the head is taken, like, that's a big victory for Gjallarhorn, and it plays back to what Gjallarhorn was initially about, you know, saving people. Okay, you know what, it's all compromise. There's a lot of irony going on, there's a lot of just the tragic element, but the imagery of Barbatos's head standing on that pike, or not a pike but a sword, but you get the imagery, it's like it's impaled on a pike. You know, man, it was rough imagery. But the other half of this moment is Mikazuki and his lead up into it. Mikazuki starts talking about what he wanted, or his place and everything, and he's like talking about how ultimately the people that he was with, and it ultimately just boils down to like, if his place was with those people and that they got to where they were going, right? They got to a point where they could save the people around them and give them a better life. And ultimately Mikazuki in his final moments thinking about how he got the bracelet dirty, and he needs Kudelia's help with Atra to like try and calm her down. You know, I'm so happy Mikazuki didn't say, I wish I could have lived, because that would have made things way worse. But instead he resolves like, or did we get to where we were going? It's like, yeah, we did. Like, we won. Ultimately, this victory wasn't one about winning over Russell. This was about getting the most people out alive. And I'm so happy that Mikazuki found that and was able to achieve that goal. It didn't matter that he was going to die anymore. What mattered was that they got their friends out of there. And Mikazuki and Julieta just going in those last moments. Man, Mikazuki destroyed things. Akihiro did too. And I really liked what they did to signify when the characters had died, like the blue outlines. I thought that was very nicely done. Anyway, man, a powerful moment. And so now the final moment to talk about is, well, the whole epilogue. Truthfully, it's the whole epilogue. Man, look, I do not like 5-minute epilogues. I really like it when a series gives me an epilogue. I hate it when a series doesn't give me an epilogue, but this is the one moment that I am so happy at Iron Blooded Orphans' habit of focusing on the characters. This is the moment that it all culminates in. I am so happy we got a 10-minute epilogue to follow up and get proper closure on everything. Man, look, not many series are gonna give you as satisfying as an epilogue as this series did. That's just a fact of the matter. Like, this was so well done. Wow. There's so much we could talk about. We can talk about Ride going in at the beginning of the epilogue and looking at the grave, then Ride showing up and shooting Norbliss while he is in the potty. That was excellent. Yeah, Ride being a badass. We could talk about the orphanage that actually got established, and Dante and the kid that lost his arm, they're working there. And I looked around because I was kind of hoping that there would be like a reincarnation thing going on. Maybe I could spot Mikazuki and Orga, but no, that didn't happen. No, whatever. Kudelia, yeah, running her business and doing whatever. And like the whole power play that's going between Rustle and Kudelia is just so interesting. And it makes a lot of sense. I was really wondering whether or not Eugene was going to freak out. I was kind of hoping, are they going to shoot him now out of revenge? But no. Like this, it ultimately shows Gundam is really grounded. This particular series of Gundam was very grounded. And I'm glad that they also followed up with Julieta and her saying about how is this okay? But both sides understood what was going on in that particular moment. Other moments in that epilogue. Who am I missing? Well, clearly the Atra, Kudelia, and Mikazuki's kid. I think Mikazuki's kid looks adorable, and I love how they switched up the ending scene to one where Mikazuki's kid is looking at the photo. You know, that ending scene always had me like kind of worried because it seemed like ending scene where people were saying goodbye to characters or just admiring characters who had come and gone. But anyway, not the point. Mikazuki's kid looking at that, and just his in general interactions with Kudelia, and like that Kudelia and Atra have some kind of family unit going on. So ultimately, that's just, it's very heartwarming. Seeing Eugene and Chad and Takaki again, good. I like that. I like seeing that because that makes me feel better for these characters. Like the characters that survived went on to have good lives, and like Kudelia says, they managed to make a better world. Like the child debris, human debris system is being abolished. There's gonna be more kids in that orphanage, but it looks better. And again, one of the good things is that hopefully Tekadon will be forgotten and they won't be painted as monsters, because again, they were slayed as the devil. The thing is, the battle was over, or officially the battle was declared over when McGillis died. So that was a bit of mercy towards the organization that was Tekadon. And talking about Rustle went through and managed to accomplish part of the things that McGillis wanted. And that's fair, because at the end of the day, Rustle is a really moderate character. He talks more about practicality versus the idealism that was McGillis. So, you know, I saw that coming. Rustle actually being a moderately good guy, or moderately competent at making situations better. Gallahorn, of course, also becomes a bit more redeemable in the public eye, and then the system gets abolished because a lot of the main houses were gone, and now it's a democratic process. Overall, those are really good improvements for the world of Iron Blooded Orphans. But let's see, other things. Yeah, no, that's Rustle just. Oh, that was the ultimate just fuck you to McGillis. But he got things done, and he works with Kudelia. He knows what his history with Kudelia, and they both seem to deal with it relatively well. Other moments to talk about besides Eugene being a boss. There's something else in that epilogue that I'm forgetting. There's something else. I'm not sure. Oh, now I remember. It was Julieta and Gaelio. So that was nice. That was just Julieta doing what she always does. She's just the person who witnesses Tekadon and just explains things to the viewer. But her explaining that Tekadon was ultimately more human than everyone else, I think is a nice goodbye to the character group. And Gaelio talking about if he was able to understand people like McGillis more. You know, it's just, it's a nice moment, and I'm really happy because it seems like there's a little bit of a ship going on between Gaelia and Julieta, but that's whatever. I'm just happy that the characters were able to understand Tekkadan on a more fundamental level, since they were such big players in that conflict. So it just speaks, it's a moment of respect for Tekkadan, and I really appreciated it. But ultimately, that's it, guys. The series is over. The ending, I think, is very respectable. Akihiro and Mikazuki's final moments, really respectable. The 10-minute epilogue, if only everything could be a 10-minute epilogue. But ultimately, that's it. That's Iron Blooded Orphans. I really don't see where we could go with in terms of an OVA or a second season. I personally just can't see what we could do to go into that. But aside from that, what a series. What an awesome series. Honestly, we probably aren't going to have a Gundam series that is able to match this one for a couple more series down. Chances are we're not going to have a Gundam series that matches this one in the intensity and the brutality. So that's unfortunate, but hey, I think that if this Gundam series isn't my favorite, it's definitely in my top 3. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the series, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And now some final notes. Speaking of top 3 series, I am making the top 10 character videos. There's going to be more than one. They're going to be coming up on the channel sometime this week, hopefully. If you haven't put down your favorite characters so far, like if you didn't do it in the last video that we had on the channel, just do it here. And the reason I'm saying to do it here is because I'm going to mention it in the actual video. So it's worthwhile if you want to just have fun with the general video and just stuff like that. But anyway, guys, that's it. Iron Blooded Orphans. It is done. It got a respectable ending. It got excellent closure. And we can now close the book on that series. And I don't know what you guys like watching beyond this, but this might be the last time that a lot of you come to this channel to catch any video reviews and whatnot. But yeah, you know, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I have a Twitter. I have an Instagram. I will be trying to use those more often. The links are going to be in the description down below if you want to follow me. We can keep the conversation going. You can keep up with me and see what happens. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. This is it. Last Gundam video that we're going to do for the episodes of Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans. If a movie announcement comes out, probably is going to focus around Ride, but I will cover that. And yeah, guys, it's done. Thank you. Till next time.